Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name's Alexa, and today's video is a special video. I kind of wanted to have kind of like a cozy podcast feel. So it'll kind of be a big sister advice for mostly like high school stuff and general growing up stuff as a teen, or even if you're like older than me, you can still like take my advice, because like take whatever feels right for you. And this is my advice, so it's based on my experiences, so your experiences might be different, but I thought I would share some because I felt like I checked my analytics and I do have like some part of my audience is younger, so I thought I would maybe some of you guys would need advice, or you're starting high school next year, or you're in high school and you're struggling with some of these things. Let me know in the comments if there's any other like topics that you do want me to talk about after this video. But yeah, so before I start, I would just like get comfy. I have my like linen pants, t-shirt, my hair's like in a claw clip, and I made myself an iced coffee inside a cup that I love, by the way. It's my Disney World cup that I got last March, yeah, and it is my favorite coffee cup. So grab a coffee, grab a snack, grab whatever you want, get comfortable, and yeah, so let's get into this advice. So the first subject I wanted to talk about is to trust your gut. So there's a bunch of times where I've had a gut feeling about someone. I was like, they seem iffy, or like there's just something about them or something about a situation that doesn't feel right. My best advice that I can tell you is just to either, if it's a situation, try to get yourself out of that situation. If you're like, this doesn't feel right, I don't feel, there's something that just feels off about what is happening or wherever I am, just try to get out of that situation. If you're like, this person feels off, try to like not talk to them or just ignore them if it's like really bothering you, because most of the time your gut instinct will be right. And even if it was wrong, I still think in situations like that, it's better safe than sorry, especially with like friends in high school. Sometimes I feel like some people, sometimes they don't have, like, don't expect them to have bad intentions, but sometimes you can tell with your gut, like, this person, I feel like they have weird intentions, or just their vibe is off. I recommend really to like try to stay away, like not in a rude way. Don't say like, don't be mean to the person, but just in a polite way, try to like distance yourself, or like, just try to avoid it. So next subject that I want to board is a very important one. It's self-confidence / self-love. This is something that a lot of people struggle with, especially like between the ages of like, well, I mean, most of their life, most of the time. But I have some tips that really worked well. I've grown to have like I feel like I'm pretty confident as a person, and I mean, I wasn't always super confident, but I've kind of learned some things. This is gonna sound very basic information, but fake it till you make it. Like I know this really sounds off, but yeah, the best way, because when you start faking it, at one point you'll just start believing it and acting like it'll be natural, and you won't be faking the confidence. And in general, like, confidence is one thing that people are mostly attracted to. So the more confident you are, even if you're faking it, like not that people won't be attracted to you if you aren't confident, but it's often one of the big factors. And in general, if you do talk confidently, or like, you act as if you know what you want and all that, oftentimes you're gonna come across as more like professional, and you might sometimes get like a job if you're really confident, and not overconfident, but like right amount of like, I know what I'm doing, but not like condescending. You might get a job more than someone who was very shy and like wasn't confident and was kind of just like, like even the body language was not confident. The second tip for confidence, this is more like body image, is to find a celebrity that has like the same body type as you, or like you kind of look alike in like your body, and then try to figure out what they wear that flatters their body, and maybe go off of that or get inspiration off of that. Because I feel like it's like wearing clothes that you can absolutely wear clothes that aren't necessarily flattering, but a lot of the times, like, something that is really confident is like wearing clothes that are flattering for you. So like for me, I feel more confident in high-waisted jeans because of the way that like my body is built, kind of like my hips and all that. I feel just more confident, and I feel like it just flatters my body more than if I was to wear like low-rise jeans, or just like mid-rise. Like, it's definitely like a way that you're gonna feel more confident in your body sometimes, because it'll just flatter your body more. And sometimes just like, even like, you don't have to pay for a whole color analysis, by the way. You could just try to find celebrities that have the same face shape as you, and what hairstyles do they wear, like, or same hair color, what type of like makeup or colors do they wear. It's all like, it's really all on finding what flatters your body the most, that you are the most comfortable with as well. So the next section that I want to talk about is friends and friend groups. So as a kid, I struggle a lot with friends. Like, I won't be here telling you like, oh, I always had a lot of friends. Like, I think in elementary school I had a few friends, but like I was the kid that would spend my recesses with teachers talking, going around the playground. So I wasn't the best at finding friends, and that's just because like sometimes when you're neurodivergent, so but this is especially like if you have ADHD or autism or all that, when you're neurodivergent, sometimes it becomes a lot harder to make friends with people that aren't neurodivergent. My best tips is to, sometimes it's better to be more of a loner than to be friends with the wrong people. Like, that is what I figured out. Like, sometimes I used to have a lot of like toxic friend groups as a kid, or like just I would feel really like the odd one out in my friend groups, and I've just figured out that like sometimes it's better to like be alone and not have much of a friend group than to have people that are like that'll make you feel good or just drain you, because it'll be better for you, and you might find more when you're not in a friend group. You might find more like people that are nice to you and all that than if you were in a friend group that like is bad for you. Also, you will find friends someday. Like, for me, my friend group and like my friends, I didn't find my friends, and that was pretty early. Like, some people, they don't find like their actual friend group forever, like until they're older sometimes, but like I didn't find real true friends that like I know I'm gonna keep forever until I was like 16. Yeah, 15, 16. So like before that I had friend groups and friends that I was friends with, but like those friendships didn't really last, or like I don't know, like there would just be a falling out, or I would just not have friends for a little while. But you will find your friends someday. You will find your group of people, and like I found my best friend we first met when I was 14, but like we only became best friends when I was 16, the year that I turned 17. So like a lot of people find their best friends when they're really young, but I didn't find mine until that age. But like it doesn't matter, and like even if you don't necessarily have friends, you just have to find how to make the best of it. So like maybe you just take up a hobby, read during lunch, or join clubs if you want to make friends. Like, don't be afraid to try and make friends, but it's okay if you don't have friends sometimes, I know it sounds weird, but so the next subject I want to talk about is dating. So when I was young, I felt like there was definitely like, especially like on me and other people, you almost feel a pressure to date, and like I was in a relationship before, and it was toxic and all that. So I feel like you definitely you don't have to give in to the pressure. Like, I don't know why, but when I was young, because of like sometimes in movies or TV shows, like I was like, oh well, everyone my age and in the media that I'm watching or people around me, they're dating, they're in a relationship, so I should be in a relationship. Like, that's how it goes. But honestly, if you're not in the place where you're like, I want to be with someone, or if there's no one really like that you're like, oh, I really like, or there's something going on, don't force a relationship. Like, a relationship should feel natural. It should come easily. Like, there shouldn't be any forced elements, because or else the relationship will not go well. So like, for example, like also you are like whatever age you are, number one, you don't ever need a boyfriend or a girlfriend, or like you don't need to date someone. Whatever age you are, you can decide. Like, there's nothing forcing you to be dating someone. You just like, if you're like, oh, I'm really like, I'm not in a place to be in a relationship, I feel like I should be alone, then don't date anyone. Like, you also have to like know who you are as a person for a relationship to work well, because if you don't know who you are, then you won't know exactly what you do want in a relationship, what things you want in life. So you don't know if like values work well together and all that. So if like, definitely try to know if you're in a good place or not for a relationship. And also, like, personally, I'm 19, I'm not like looking for a relationship. I'm kind of like, if it happens, it happens, because I'm like, I'm so young. I don't need to be in a relationship, and I don't ever need to be in a relationship if it doesn't happen. You know what I mean? Like, sure, one day I want to be married and have kids, but there's no right or wrong time to be in a relationship. Also, if you have a feeling that something is off in the relationship, or you're like, I don't know, I'm not feeling it, do not stay just because you want to be in a relationship, or just because you're like, oh, I don't want to break the person's heart. Because if the person is like not treating you right, or just not a good match, it's better to break it off now than to like drag it on, and like it's gonna be worse in the end if you do drag it on for yourself and for the other person. And if you are in a place where you need to go no contact, don't be afraid to be like, to block the person where, like, don't be afraid to block the person if you need to go no contact and they keep contacting you, because like you, especially if you told them like, I don't want to talk, because you've set boundaries. Like, you have to respect your own boundaries, and if they aren't respecting your boundaries, then don't be afraid to block, because like that cannot be a healthy situation for you. So the next part is social media. So this one is kind of like a touchy subject because so many people like don't use it correctly. So my biggest tip is to make sure that you're only consuming positive content, or content that makes you feel happy and like not insecure or anything, because you're the one who's curating your own algorithm with the content that you consume and you engage with. So if you do engage with like negative posts, or if you watch a lot of negative energy or things that are people that make you feel bad, then you're gonna bring more content that it's like that on your like feed. So like but then the same thing applies to if you only follow people who spread word about body positivity, or like just are very positive people in general that never seem super negative, then you will get more positive people on your feed. So like, for example, some of the creators that I really love, like, I mean, my main one, she's very popular, Spencer Barbosa. Like, I love her. I feel like she's very transparent. She's very positive, but she does talk about the important things like mental health in a healthy way. So she's vulnerable with her audience, and like, she definitely is she's a very positive role model for younger people, and definitely like a lot more people on the internet should feel like that. And let me know, by the way, if you want any recommendations for like positive and like really like sweet creators. I can link them down below, or like I can send them in like a comment reply. Also, don't forget that, like, I know everybody says it, but social media is so fake. Like, sometimes even I mean, a lot of people probably use like the light foundation or like some of the beauty filters on TikTok, because I have days where I'm more insecure about my acne and I'm like, I wish I had like a clear face. So that I actually post and make the content, I will put like a foundation, like the light foundation filter, like the beauty filter, because that day it'll make me feel better. And so many people use filters or like can edit parts in their video. Like, it's pretty easy to do it. So like, never think that it's really real, like everything that you see. But like, I do try to not really use those filters sometimes, but there's just some days where you kind of never need to, but I personally, I'm too insecure today, I can't do this, but I will show up on camera, so I will put it on. But like, there's not many things that are real on social media. Like, even sometimes a lot of posts are staged. Like, you have to look at it, you have to scroll through social media thinking that it's fake, you know? Like, social media is only a highlight reel of people's lives. A lot of people won't show the bad days, the mental breakdowns, when they're struggling mentally, because they don't want to put that on the internet. So think that it's only like 5% of someone's life, you know? I won't show my room if it's extra messy, but I'll show it if it's really clean. Or I won't talk about something that's going on in my life if it's really hard. Sometimes I'll talk about the fun things. So like, even I notice, like, for me, when I film a vlog or like a TikTok vlog or stuff like that, I'll post the fun, nice looking parts, not the more like messy parts of my life, because it's just, people will not necessarily watch messy parts of your life. They'll watch the fun, cute, aesthetic looking parts. So definitely like, go with that mindset anytime you're consuming media on whatever platform. So the last thing I wanted to talk about in the social media section is about what you post. So I would recommend, anytime you post anything on your story, your Instagram, or your TikTok, the best tips you can do to like make sure that you're being safe with your content is to think, would I be okay with this content going viral? Or would I be okay with, even if it's a private account, would I be okay with someone taking a screenshot and posting it on their Instagram? For example, one thing that I do whenever I post a TikTok or an Instagram story or whatever, I'm like, there's two questions I ask myself. I'm like, would I be okay if it went viral and 50 million strangers would see this post? Like, is this something that I feel would represent me well and not like, you know, would not end up like actually having a negative effect on my life? Or like having, for example, a job, when if you're applying for a job and they look you up on like social media, would this make me me not get the job because it just like they're like, oh, that's not our type of brand. And the second thing I like to ask myself is, would I be okay with all of my like people from my high school and my distant relatives that don't already follow me? Would I be okay with them seeing this? I remember my parents telling me this after they had been like at a conference with the school, and like I remember this really hitting me, like this sentence really hit me hard, and it's everything on the internet is there forever. You cannot permanently remove something from the internet, and you just have to be ready that like this could, just think about it as this could be shown in front of your entire class, you know? Like whenever you post something, it's there forever. Anyone can find it. So that's my best tip on how to be really safe with what you post on the internet and be really mindful of what you decide to post, because like even if you think like, oh, like my account, there's not really many people following me, it could still, like on TikTok, if you have a public account, it could still go viral. And if you have a public account, only let people follow you that you want them to follow you. So if you're like, oh, I'm not really sure with this person, don't let them follow you. Don't accept their request, because you might just end up feeling weird every time you post something because you're like, oh yeah, that's true, this person follows me. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. Also, if you have any other types of videos you would want me to do, any other sit down, like talking, podcast like videos that you would want me to post, then definitely let me know. If you do want to watch more of my content, definitely check out my other YouTube videos or check out my Instagram and TikTok, which are in the description on my link tree. I hope you guys have a nice rest of your morning, evening, or whatever time it is for you guys. So yeah, bye!